is 10 to 15 minutes, a short time to present to you. A study that has been conducted recently, right? All related about the use of this educational technology, but not as per school education, but it's more of an education related to healthcare. Right, with the topic on simulated electronic health documentation using the integrated nursing education system, nursing students' perception, attitude, and intention to use, as the title. Okay, I have to acknowledge that this study is, we have conducted this together with a few other colleagues in UNIMAS. Alright, as an introduction, what do we mean by this? What is this electronic health record system, and why is it important? Right, this electronic health record system, it has been implemented in the healthcare organization for the past decades, whether in the private sector or in the government sector. And nurses, as healthcare providers, navigate or use the electronic health record system related to patient history record, nursing assessment, intervention, progress note, vital sign intake outputs, incident reports, or physician's order. Right. Accuracy and proficiency in data entry processed by nurses are vital to enhance patient safety and outcomes. And the use of advanced technology cannot improve organization performance if it is not accepted and utilized effectively by the end users. Here I mean the nurses as the healthcare providers. So my focus is on the nurses. Alright, in the education preparation of future nurses, the students, the future nurse professionals who will be able to accept and utilize the electronic health record system professionally for a safe delivery of healthcare practice is very essential and imperative. It's just a picture of our nursing students going for a field trip up there. Alright, whether in the faculty or in the practical, in a clinical area, the students practice for documenting patient's history, assessment, nursing progress note, intervention, vital sign intake output, etc. are inadequate and prominently only paper-based, which is the conventional mode of documentation. And during the clinical practicum, when the students go to the hospital, the health centers, there is hardly any opportunity for them to practice health documentation, in particularly electronic mode. Alright, so a simulated functional electronic health record application for students to navigate the technology, document and plan patient care in a simulated format in the clinical skills lab is essential. Right, I would like to introduce to you what is this integrated nursing education system, or in short, I will use INES, I-N-E-S. Alright, it is a simulated electronic health documentation application from the website. You can see at the end there is SG, Singapore. So it is from the National University of Singapore with the Korika. She is the lecturer and together she developed the application and is used in NUS by the students. And this is accessible to our students in the Department of Nursing at UNIMAS for teaching learning experience 2 years back via academic MOA. So the next few slides, actually I'm showing to you some of the interface and the feature of this INES or the web application, the simulated health documentation application. Right? If you heard about the Alice Lee Center for Nursing Studying is in NUS, and then for this application you need to log in, register, and then there are in this application we can, as the coordinator, we can get the student to sign up to be user for this application, and then you can sign up to be used by students for the various courses, and you have different modules for simulated patient records, for medications, for patient measurements, monitoring, and all that features. And also you have features whereby the student can document the health assessment for patients of the different organ system and key in patients' information, data. Okay, and then the feature of documenting medication, prescription, administration, all that. Okay, why this study was conducted? As you know that we have implemented this use of simulated health documentation as the teaching learning experience by the nursing student. So therefore, we want to find out actually with this implementation of this new learning educational technology by the student, we want to see how these students perceive their perception, their attitudes, and their intention to use this application, and what influence their intention to use this application. The conceptual framework which has been adopted to guide this study is Technology Acceptance Model, or TAM in short, which explains the causal relationship between the variables, that is, the perceptions on the ease of use, usefulness, the attitude, and intention to use. Okay, you might, as education, or we are all in the line of, we are talking about educational technology. I am sure that you would have heard about this model, technology acceptance model, which are presented in this diagram, whereby the behavioral intention could be related to the perceived usefulness, the attitude towards using. And attitude towards using could be influenced by the perceived ease of use and the perceived usefulness. Right. Right. So we focus on the behavioral intention, attitude towards using, perceived usefulness, and perceived ease of use in this model. Right. So we have the nursing students from year 2 to year 4 in the study, in the faculty as our sample, and obtain the appropriate, required institution ethic approval before the students are recruited for this study. So how we conduct is, at the beginning of the academic year, semester 1, the students were introduced and guided to access this application. And the course coordinator concerned had instructed the student about accessing this application and to use that for simulated documentation during their health assessment, skills lab session, and for documenting their case studies, and for their nursing progress now after they come back from the clinical as their practice. And however, they are not given any extra marks for their participation. And students were told that we are recruiting them to do this as a study for their practice, and after that we do a study as a survey. And at the end of the semester, a survey was conducted among the students, 133 of them, and they were given a questionnaire to the 5-point Likert scale from strongly disagree to agree. 1 is strongly disagree, is negative, and 5 is maximum the strongly agree. It's 1 to 5. So variables and items will consist of these 4 aspects on their perceived usefulness, ease of use, students, their attitude towards the application, and their intention to use. Alright, and as part of the study, a focus group discussion actually was conducted to find out about the experience of using this application However, for this paper, we focus on the survey finding on their perception, attitude, intention, and intention to use. All right, data analysis were done descriptively by comparing the means, and also we did a structural equational modeling, or SEM, to establish the fitness of the measurement model and to examine the causal relationship among the various variables. And the SEM, I have to acknowledge that the SEM data analysis has been conducted with the assistance of my colleague. All right, descriptive result, 33 students, and 133 students at the mean age of 22 to 23. They have various years of using the computer, year 2, 3, 4 students, and male and female students, with the majority are the female students. All right, their perception, attitude, and intention to use. As I mentioned just now, the reading is from minimum to maximum is 1 to 5. The higher the reading means the better their perception and more positive their attitude and better, higher intention to use. As you will see that the mean score of each variables are not so promising and is not so favorable about use of this application. And you can see that the attitude is just slightly above at the average. It's all in the middle range of 3 point something, where the maximum is 5. So they are not very positive. The intention to use is not that great, and they don't really perceive it as that useful or that easy, not so easy to use. Okay, and also I'd like to share with you this in these slides here. All right, their intention to use in relation to other variables such as their gender, the year of study, and the years of using computer. You will see that the year of student study is significant in terms of their differences in the intention to use, with the more junior year student actually demonstrating higher intention to use, with the most senior student have less intention to use. All right, I would like to draw your attention to those values which has been highlighted in yellow. Okay, using the SEM, we are able to demonstrate the relationship or causal relationship between the variables. We will start from the bottom, right? Their perceived usefulness is significantly related to their intention to use, with 0.475. Whereas attitude is also significant in influencing their intention to use. However, in perceived usefulness has higher correlationship with their intention to use. And as you move up, you will see that their perceived usefulness actually has an effect or influence on their attitude. And you will also see that their perceived ease of use influence their perceived usefulness. So you will see that the model that we have shown just now, their intention, their perceived intention to use the technology has relationship with their perceived usefulness, their attitude, and their attitude are influenced by their perceived ease of use and their perceived usefulness. Right. Okay, there are a few points that I would like to highlight to you. As you can remember just now, we mentioned that this web application is from Singapore, National University of Singapore, and they have generously shared with UNIMAS for us to let the student use, because UNIMAS don't have the web application on a simulated web application yet, but so they let us use for the students' learning. So for the survey, as you have seen just now, the finding that they are not so positive in the attitude, not so keen about using it, and then they don't perceive it as useful. So, okay, and looking into the situation that the students were in, I would think that the web application, because it has been developed by NUS. So the time when there are instability of the web application, the local or UNIMAS IT department were not able to help the student because the application is not developed by UNIMAS. They don't have the access to troubleshoot their system. And because of the lack of IT support, so the student would perceive that it is not easy to use. They complain, and then they think that it's wasting their time, it's not so useful, it take their time, and then they influence also their attitude, and they're not so keen of using it. Though they are good in using computers. Therefore, this finding just now, as we have shown you about the relationship, the effect of the various variables, it gives us the insight. It gives us insight into the future plan in relation to integrating this electronic health documentation as an experience into the nursing educational curriculum. I would say that the university management, they have to provide the necessary support and the allocation of resources to develop a local, user-friendly, simulated educational web application with the accessible IT support. So that means, what I mean is, we have to actually develop our own in order to get the support, IT support. We cannot rely on another technology web application from another institution, which is non-local. And also, adequate tutorials and explanation given to the students objectively is required. That will help to positively influence the students' intention to use any new educational technology. And also, not forgetting, the faculty, the lecturers, has a role to integrate the use of electronic health documentation into their related courses with allocation of marks to the students for their participation as an incentive. Therefore, they will perceive it as it is important, it is useful. Therefore, they will spend time to utilize or navigate around the web application as their teaching learning. Okay, for this my reference. Yep. So I have to give acknowledgement to UNIMAS for granting the STOTEL grant for this study. STOTEL, we have this grant now in UNIMAS, the scholarship of teaching learning, for us to conduct study related to teaching learning. Right. So thank you very much. This is my short presentation.